This week we have a 1, a 3, a 8, a 9, and a 3000. I am your host, Jacques Slade, and this is the Weekly Review.
My kick's on fire.
New release information is almost always a good thing, and last week brought us news about the Nike Air Griffey Max 1 in Emerald. Officially slated as black, white, and freshwater, the Seattle Mariner-inspired colorway from 1996 is sure to be a big hit with retro fans and King Griffey fans alike. For those that are looking to cop, you can grab these on August 10th for $140. Last week, Jordan Brand previewed a special collection for Derek Jeter reaching 3,000 hits. Now, the collection included gear, apparel, and shoes, but of course, all we really care about are the shoes. Now, the shoes that were included in the pack was a Jordan Jeter cleat, which had an all-black upper with gold accents and gold cleats, and then there was also the Jordan Jeter cut, which had a maroon upper, a white midsole, and a gum bottom. Truth be told, though, the best part of this collection was the insoles. The insoles had a printed copy of the contract that Jeter's dad made him sign when he was going into high school, saying that he would practice, that he would do chores around the house, and that he would just work on just becoming a better person in general, which I think is super dope. Shout out to Jeter and congratulations on your 3,000 plus hits as of now. Let's move on to number 3. Swizz, Beatz, and Reebok have big plans for the future, but in the meantime, they have released a new colorway of the Kamikaze 3 in steel and feather blue. Set to hit retail spots on August 1st for $100, the model features beautiful feather blue hexalite panels and an all-gray upper with a white midsole. Again, these will be available on August 1st for $100, and I was actually sent a pair early, and I'm going to give them a thorough review for you guys to let you know how I feel about the Kamikazes, but you've seen the pictures on the site and you've seen the pictures here, and they look really good. I'm definitely impressed with the colorway. Let's just see if they can hold up on the court. Let's move on to number 2. The Nike LeBron 9 hit the web last week like a thunderstorm. However, it wasn't really well received. I personally loved the colorway. I'm a big fan of black and red colorways. I like the higher ankle. I like the carbon fiber-like material. However, comments across the web have not really been favorable about the shoe. So I think that has a lot to do with it being new and different. And, you know, people generally, when they see something different and they see something change after a very successful LeBron 8, I think it's kind of hard for people to transition to the LeBron 9. So we'll see when the shoe actually comes out how people respond to the shoe then. Either way, I'm very excited about the shoe, and I love the quote on the front of the shoe, "What happens in life echoes in eternity," which sounds to me like the call to greatness and is a quote from the movie Gladiator, which is one of my favorite movies and apparently one of LeBron's favorite movies also. So that is the Nike LeBron 9 in black and red. And you know, when you release it in new colorways, that also will make a difference. So maybe you guys aren't a fan of the black and red colorway, and when we see it in other colorways, that may change your mind. So we'll see come this NBA season, if there is an NBA season. But that's a whole nother video altogether. Let's move on. And topping the list this week is the introduction of the Air Jordan 8.0. Taking cues from the Air Jordan 2.0, the model uses a slimmer build, a hyperfused upper, and a Huarache-styled ankle. As of right now, we only have this one image, thanks to the folks at Modern Notoriety who got the scoop, and there's no release date information or no actual samples. I think this is actually just a drawing or sort of a Photoshop job of what the shoe will look like. If it does release, I can tell you that I'm definitely curious as to what the final product is going to look like. So that's number 1, the Air Jordan 8.0. Let's move on to the honorable mentions. The honorable mentions are my way of picking out 3 hot sneakers from last week that didn't exactly make it into the top 5, but definitely were hot. So with that said, let's get this started. The first one is the Vans California Era Wingtip CA Wool Pack. I've always been a fan of Vans, and I love what they're doing with these wingtip designs, making them a little stylish, and definitely the wool sets this model off. The second honorable mention is the Jeremy Scott Adidas Original Spring 2012 Preview. I'm not personally sure that I can rock any of Jeremy Scott sneakers, but I definitely admire their avant-garde look and, you know, the way he chooses shoe design. I just don't think that I could get away with rocking them. I'm not cool enough to rock those. And Finally, it's the Adidas Stan Smith 2, the Adidas Stan Smith 2 in Mahogany. Look at this leather. I mean, do I really need to say anything else besides look at this leather? It looks crazy. Yeah. So the Adidas Stan Smith 2 Mahogany. I love the color and love the leather. Let's move on to my personal pick. For my personal pick this week, I'm going with the shoe that was originally created in 1976, the Adidas Originals Munchen. Named after the capital of Bavaria, the model has a similar look to the My Adidas Reebok shell toe kind of look, but it uses suede and I believe it's nylon mesh on it. Personally, I'm just a big fan of the Collegiate red. I love that shade of red. It really pops off the white on the sneaker and definitely caught my eye when I saw it on the site. So my personal pick, again, is the Adidas Originals Munchen from 1976. Let's move on to the question of the video. This is going to be good. Last week for the question of the video, I asked, what would you call someone that calls themselves a sneakerhead but only has Jordan Retros in their closet? Now, before I read your responses, I want to make it clear that I wasn't doing any judging at all. I was just asking the question. Personally, I feel if you like Jordan Retros and that's all you like, then that's what you like. I'm a big fan of buying what you like and wearing what you like. And if you love sneakers that much, Jordan Retros that much, I think that still makes you a sneakerhead, but that's my personal opinion. So here's some of the responses from you guys. Here's one from Kenneth Williams. Like you said, it's about copying what they like. They may only like retro Jordans, but when it comes down to copying a shoe that they do like and they don't because it isn't a retro Jordan, they can be called a Jordan head, but to me, that is pretty hype beastish. And Kenneth, I really agree with you. You shouldn't judge a shoe based on the brand. If you just love the design of the Jordan Retros, that's one thing. But not getting a shoe because it's not a Jordan shoe, then that's another thing, and that is pretty hype beastish. Here's another one from Icy Soul Dude 23. Jordan has always been my favorite player ever since diapers. Most of my collection is retro J's, and I still call myself a sneakerhead. I got my foams and my OG D Brown Reebok pumps, which are sick as hell. I know a lot about Nike shoes and always keep up with release dates and such, so to be not deemed a sneakerhead because JB is far at the top of my list is a joke. And that's kind of what I was saying beforehand, Icy Soul Dude 23. I absolutely agree. It doesn't mean that you're not a sneakerhead. It just means that those are the sneakers that you like. Here's one from YouTube. It's from Oh No NYC or I think it's just Oh No NYC. Could consider them a sneakerhead with an asterisk. Got to start somewhere, just not with a closet of all retros. I've been collecting before internet hype and buzz surrounding the release of a kick. Back when a sneakerhead would see the shoe on a hustler's foot or by chance walk into a spot like Frank's or Jew-Man's, shout out to the BX, the definition has changed over the years, but someone with a vast assortment of kicks ranging from popular to the unheard of or rarely seen is a sneakerhead. And that is definitely one way to look at it. And I think we need to really try to define a line between what's a sneakerhead and what's a collector. Because I think a collector would be more into the rare shoes and what he said, the unheard of and rarely seen shoes. So that might make you a collector as opposed to a sneakerhead. So maybe we'll do that, make that the question of the video. I don't know. We'll see. And then finally, here's one from the Biz76. Okay, first of all, I'm disgusted with the fact that now you have to own expensive pairs of shoes to be called a sneakerhead. I honestly used to have like 2 pairs of kicks, Crazy 8s and pennies, but I love sneakers, so I called myself a sneakerhead because I would always look at sneakers even though I had no money to buy them. Sneakers were always on my mind, and I think that's really what matters in the sneaker game is appreciation and respect. Very well said, the Biz76. When I was a kid, I couldn't really afford any of the dope sneakers from when I was a kid. To be honest, I wore Payless shoes when I was a kid. I didn't get my first pair of Converse until I was like in the 8th grade. I wore like Payless shoes up until then. So if we're gonna keep it real, let's keep it real. I didn't have the nice sneakers that I have now until I got older. And I think a lot of it has to do with your appreciation and respect for your shoes. Just because I didn't have them doesn't mean I didn't appreciate them or that I didn't want them. It's just that my family wasn't in a position to get those. And so, you know, I wasn't able to get the sneakers that I really wanted until I got older. So shout out to the Biz 76 for, just keeping it real. So that is our question of the video from last week. Now, this week, the question I want to ask about the sneakerhead and the collector, but I'll ask that next week. So for this week, we're going to go with a question that was from one of the commenters, and he was talking about custom shoes. He said that we shouldn't talk about customs because we might as well be talking about fake sneakers. So I want to ask you guys, does a custom mean it's fake? So are fake sneakers synonymous with customs, and are custom sneakers synonymous with fakes? I'll give my opinion on that next week. Well, that is the end of the weekly review. I am your host, Jacques Slade. As always, we appreciate you watching. If you haven't subscribed to the video, make sure you click the button right there above. It'll let you know as soon as we post new videos, which are not only the weekly reviews, but we also do some shoe reviews, and those will be coming up in the next couple of weeks, so you'll start seeing those from us. If you haven't seen last week's video, then bam, click right there and you can see last week's video. If Twitter and Facebook is your thing, then that information is down in the description. You can follow Kicks on Fire on Twitter, or you can follow me on Twitter, or you can just follow the Kicks on Fire page on Facebook. As always, we appreciate you. I am your host, Jacques Slade. This is the weekly review, and I will see you next week. Peace.